In front of these strangers that I've just mentioned, you have to put a sock over your penis and balls. No one ever mentions that now, do they? That ain't up there on any list. A few years ago, I entered a bodybuilding competition. Gonna get this out of the way now before the comments go nuts. Yeah, like I gave it my best shot, but do I look like $1 million? No. Should I have got leaner? Yes. Did I encounter a load of issues? Absolutely. But I still think we can talk about it, and I still think there's plenty to say. Also, I did learn loads from that bodybuilding competition when it came to building muscles. I was like, hey, we can do a little chat about that on YouTube, and if you want to watch it, great. And if you don't want to watch it, that's all right too. As you are here, though, please do hit that subscribe button. Please do like the video. YouTube's gone crazy with likes recently. Just want likes all the time. Otherwise, like, we're not going to put your video anywhere because YouTube is just like a crazy algorithm monster that will ruin your life. Also, we have a Patreon. There is this link in the description below where you can learn everything. But otherwise, yeah, here's 10 things about doing a bodybuilding competition that nobody tells you. Number 10 is when it comes to cardio, right? And this is why I tell most people now, whether you're bulking or cutting or whatever you're doing when it comes to your bodybuilding, lifting weights, fitness, etc., just do as much cardio as you can. And I don't mean do an hour every day, but even if you're doing 5-10 minutes here and there, just keep in the routine of doing cardio. Because something I really struggle with is I never did cardio. We talked about this before. Cardio to me was the equivalent of a demon coming out of the depths and biting my head off. I just did not want it to happen. I did not want it to go down. But then when I had to start introducing cardio to start my, process of being ripped for a bodybuilding contest, yeah, I had to introduce it, and I was doing it in the mornings. I just hated life. I hated everything. And now, truly, because I do it every day, I found a way to enjoy it, and I found a way to integrate it into my routine. I now know that if I ever had to up it or, change it around, it's part of what I do. So even if I took a few days off and needed to get back into doing some cardio, I absolutely could. But it's a crazy thing doing cardio when you're doing a bodybuilding contest, and I'm sure if you've done one, you will understand. Because once you are getting into that stage of proper depletion or controlled starvation, as they call it, my word, if that doesn't just sum it up, the last thing you want to do is get on a bike or a treadmill or elliptical, cross trainer, rower, whatever, and just go and go and go, and you start sweating and you're tired and you have no fuel and you're just burning off things you didn't even know that you had. And then when you're done, you're just like, oh, I just want to go to sleep now. But it's, first thing in the morning or whatever. It's really, really tough, and it's really, really crazy. And obviously, if you're like me, I'm quite a motivated guy. So when I first started doing it and it was first introduced into my plan, I was so excited. Oh, this is different. And, what's the start of my journey is here, and I can't wait to get to my destination. But getting to that destination, hardest thing I've ever done in my life, genuinely. Not just from a physical point of view, or definitely more so from a mental point of view. Because again, when you are in that kind of a state, your brain starts playing tricks on you. You're emotional all the time. I know how people do it. And we're going to talk about this later, but, a first-timer bodybuilder, which is what I was in terms of a competition, you learn so much from it that you really should go back and do another one. And maybe one day I will. But yeah, I had no idea what I was in for. And it all kind of started by going, oh, I've got to do that much cardio, do I? I don't want to do it. Number 9 is you have to give up your entire life. I mean that too. Again, when you're getting to this sort of 6 weeks out kind of a deal, and you need to be eating such a specific diet, and you can't really be having any kind of extra fats or extra carbs that you may get from a restaurant or buying your food from whenever. You just need to be at home base, or you need to be in a place where you can prep your food and have it all the time, because you have to be on point throughout the day. It's literally from midnight 01 to 11:59. Apparently on midnight you can do whatever you want. That's a stupid thing to say. You have to be completely focused and completely dedicated to this one goal. And that can be really hard after a while because, in my experience, yeah, I ran into all these issues and all these problems with my body, almost rebelling against what I was doing. And that kind of kicks your ass as well, because you want to look really good when you're putting that much effort into anything. And again, as you can see from my pictures, I should have said at the start of the video because the comments will be going nuts. Yeah, again, I didn't get as lean as I'd hoped to. And, it's kind of like an experimental process. I dropped too much muscle too. That's the truth of it. I dropped too much muscle and I dropped too much weight. But you don't know. It's a whole guessing game. It's a whole guessing process. And that's why kind of when you get to this sort of month, 6 weeks out, at least for me, this is what my experience was and how I felt. I just need to be in the same place all the time. And I don't want to go anything. I don't want too many curveballs. I went on a shoot because in my day-to-day life, I do a lot of filming. And I went on a shoot in Middlesbrough, I think. And I had all my food with me, but I was just dying. I was so cold because my body fat was sort of lower than I was used to. And it's really difficult. Like I say, really, really difficult to try and get through all of that. I think you have to kind of accept it. And I think I did know deep down, but I didn't think I knew to the extent that it was going to get. And I really, really preferred it if I had. I think I could have approached it with a little bit more gusto, because you have some days, like I say, when you wake up and you think, how am I going to get through this again today? Especially when you're sort of like 3 weeks out, because it just feels so far away, even though it's still quite close, given you've probably done, an 8 or 12 week cut, even up to 16 weeks, depending on where you're at. Yeah, if you think you can go, and you may be able to, some people have crazy genetics, but yeah, if you think you can go into it sort of half-heartedly, your body soon turns around and kicks your ass. Number 8 is dealing with extreme bloating. This ties into what I said a minute ago about issues that I encountered. But in my peak week especially, which is my 1 week or 5 to 7 days before you step on a stage, my body just didn't want to know. It had basically just stopped working. It basically closed down. And as I was trying to introduce a little bit of carbs here and there to see how I would fill out, it was just like, I can't handle this, Simon. I can't handle this. And I was having toilet issues, as I'm sure you can figure out when people are bloated. And that's because, again, my whole digestive system and my whole wherewithal, whatever word you want to use, had shut down at that point. And my body didn't really know what I was trying to get out of it. And this is when I, go back to that point about, if you are going to do one, maybe aim to do two, because I've learned so much from this. I know what I would do second time round. I know which things I would want to change. But that's a horrible thing as well, because, again, I didn't get as lean as I wanted to. I probably dropped down to about the 8% mark. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know. Now people are like, I don't know what I was, right? I dropped down as far as I could drop down. Point is, I was a lower body fat percentage than I ever had been. And when you do that, you just want to look flipping ripped. And you want to look at yourself and go, brr. When you get bloated, it doesn't matter how lean you are, because you may have, cuts around here, but here's like, brr. It's like, well, that sucks. I don't want to look like that. So, I mean, I guess it's something I probably knew that could be part of the process. But when it does, stick its neck out, and it gets under your skin, right? Especially because, again, up here, you're all over the place. Oh, man. So, yeah, prepare yourself for that just in case. Number 7 is dealing with no sleep. Because, again, once you get into this malnourished state, which is essentially what you do get to at some point, your body doesn't want to sleep. But it does want to sleep, but it doesn't really know how to sleep because everything's just going everywhere. I don't understand, again, how people are professional body. I guess after a while, you get used to it. I did it completely natural. People go, yeah, bullshit. Well, I did. I did it completely natural. And I wasn't taking anything to sort of help maintain my muscle. But you can tell from the pictures. If you can't tell from the pictures, you're just seeing what you want to see. But I wasn't taking anything to help maintain my message match or, get me to sleep or wake me up. And I think that's kind of why my sort of hormonal system was just all over the place. Because I think my body was scared. It was worried. It thought it was in meltdown. It thought it was in shutdown. So it was just firing off sort of whatever it could to try and keep me going, which meant when I was, wanted to sleep and actually want to get some downtime, I think my adrenaline would go up again because it's fight or flight syndrome. I think my body thought it was in a fight. I think my body thought a car was coming towards it because it had all these danger signals in my head. And we talk about mental health here a lot on this channel. And yeah, if you are going to enter a bodybuilding competition, just be primed and ready for some ironic some serious ups and downs, because they come and they come fast. And that's kind of something I would have rather somebody would have told me beforehand too. If I had known about that, I think if you're more aware, right? Same with anything. Like, even if you think you're going to lose your job, it's much better to know that I am going to lose my job in 4 weeks as opposed to I may lose my job in 4 weeks. You can just deal with that better. The brain's kind of good at it. And I think if I had known, okay, I'm in for a bit of an emotional roller coaster here, it would have been okay. But I didn't know that. So when I woke up feeling like I wanted to cry, it's just like, why is happening? Number 6, again, things that nobody talk about. You have to get the most ridiculous tan in the world. Like, you've seen it. Of course you've seen it if you've looked into bodybuilding. But you have to get it. So I had to go and get mine done on the Friday. And obviously you're around a bunch of, people that you don't know. So it's a little bit intimidating. And they spray you like 4,000 million times. Then on the Saturday, on the day of my show, whatever the day your show would be, you have to go back and get it done again to get it topped off. And then before you go on stage, they give you like some extra stuff to make you glow and make you pop. It kind of sucks because you look it does make you look more ripped. And when you wash it off, you're like, oh. But that tan, I've done spray tans and, bottle tans and stuff like that. That tan must have lasted me months. It was on my skin for ages. I couldn't get it off no matter how hard I scrubbed. My skin is very, very weird. But yeah, I knew how crazy the tanning situation would be. I didn't realize it would be that nuts. Which ties into number 5, which again, in front of these strangers that I've just mentioned, you have to put a sock over your penis and balls. No one ever mentions that now, do they? That ain't up there on any lists. Because again, if you are going to get a tan all over and you're going to be wearing a tiny little thong on show day too, so every part of your body essentially needs to be the same color, otherwise you're going to look ridiculous. The only thing you need to cover up is your balls and your testicles. And the way they do that is they give you a sock. Obviously, it's a new sock. It hasn't been worn before. It's not just a thing as a second-hand ball sock. And it's hard, really difficult. I never put a sock over my testicles and balls before. It took me about an hour. It's exaggeration. But yeah, again, things I would have liked to have been told. That was one of them. Penis, sock, cover. Number 4 was accepting that I wasn't going to look anywhere near as good as I wanted. Again, I've kind of touched upon some of the problems I had in the build up to it. I wanted to be leaner and surprise, surprise, I wanted to be leaner and I wanted to have held on to more muscle. And I managed to flub both these things up. But again, not to say that I'm ashamed of the way it went. I'm very proud of doing it. I'm very proud that I could get in a position where at least I looked somewhat respectable on stage. I know some people just go and do a bodybuilding competition. They don't care about body fat percentage or muscle size or symmetry, and that's fine. You do you. Conditioning, I don't think, who cares, right? You do whatever you want. But I felt like, I wouldn't say I was competitive, but again, I didn't look out of place. I think people could have looked at me and said, okay, he's trained for this. But I knew a couple of days beforehand, especially on show day, you've just depleted too much. And again, it's a guessing game, as I've mentioned, but that does suck. It does kind of make you feel a little bit disappointed because, it just does, doesn't it? Like, I'm a competitive guy. I was going there to hopefully try and make somewhat of a splash, and I kind of knew straight away that wasn't going to be the case. And I don't look back on it now with any regrets because, again, I'm glad with how I do it. I can always say I did a bodybuilding competition based purely on diet and going to the gym. Not that I have anything against anyone doing anything else. That's completely your decision. I make mine. I hope you respect that and I respect yours too. But I already know all the comments are going to be, you don't look right, and I get it. I get it. I'm not delusional. I'm not pulling the wool over my eyes, but I also know how much hard work went into that. I think that's the thing. I put all this hard work into it, but I didn't really get the physique out the other side that I was hoping to. And again, that can kind of kick your ass emotionally too. But it was a learning lesson, and maybe one day if I do it again, I know I need a little bit more time on my cut. Maybe introduce cardio a little bit, not the cardio itself, but maybe the increasing of cardio. Maybe introduce that a little bit later on. But nobody can take it away from me. And I think that's the important and the cool thing. Number 3, sacrificing cheat meals. Again, stands to reason. There ain't no way you're getting in that sub 10% body fat unless you're super lucky with your genetics. If you're not sacrificing cheat meals, but I think it can be so hard. I didn't realize how much I appreciated a cheat meal to get me through my weekly diet until they were gone. I didn't have one for 8 weeks or whatever it was. I remember one of my trainer at the time said, actually, son, we can do a refeed today and you can have like 20 grams of Skittles. Those 20 grams of Skittles were the greatest thing I've ever eaten in my life. Almost cried. Eating these Skittles, like, oh my gosh, Skittles are amazing. It ties into the mental health portion of bodybuilding as well. When you are putting yourself essentially through a grueling process, those little things can make all the difference. And even if you are just a healthy person and you enjoy dieting 6.5 days of the week, that half a day where you eat what you want, oh man, whether it's the leptin levels going up or the endorphins that food releases or the serotonin, whatever, it really does give you extra motivation. It really does make you feel more positive about, again, going to do it the following week. And when they were taken away from me, I was like, gee, this is going to be really, really, really tough. And it was really tough. But you also get that thing on the other side where once you've achieved it and you do get to sit down after your competition, I went to pizza, obviously. It's the best meal you've ever eaten in your life. And talking about things that nobody tells you too. If only someone had told me, don't give up your trainer after you've done the bodybuilding competition. You need somebody on hand to talk about your cravings. So I remember I had a cookie. My competition was on a Saturday and I had a Monday, I had a cookie. Because my trainer said, make sure you try and introduce a few sugary treats here and there just for your overall well-being and your overall mentality, I guess. But I had one cookie and it sent all these signals to my brain. And you can read loads of people's vlogs about this and blogs. It sent all these signals to my brain where my brain went, okay, you haven't eaten whatever that thing is, sugar, in a long time. I'm terrified you're not going to give it to me again. So I'm just going to send all these signals out for you to tell to eat sugar. Binge on sugar, and I'm going to hold on to that as much as possible. I didn't go crazy, but I ate way much more than I should have done, given I hadn't eaten anything. And lo and behold, I found out afterwards, it happens to loads of bodybuilders in the first time competition. You just go on these binges, and you kind of destroy your physique in weeks because you're just so desperate for this crazy sugary food. So that's something to keep in mind too. Definitely keep in touch with a trainer or a friend and say I'm having these cravings, and they can kind of give you ideas to work around it. But yeah, if you're training for a bodybuilding competition right now, you probably know. And if you don't, it is really hard, which kind of annoys me when people say it's not a sport. It depends on what your definition of sport is, but the amount of the effort that goes into it, to me, it ticks that box. Number 2, you stop enjoying the gym. For kind of the stuff that I said earlier. I love the gym. It's my safe place. It's my haven. I look forward to it every single day. But when you're in there depleted, there's that word again, even doing a bicep curl, it's like, I don't want to do that bicep curl. And getting through a session, by the end of it, you are just done. You are just done. You're sad. You're miserable. You're moody at that point. You're irritable. I'm not an irritable guy. I'm quite a laid back tamale. And some guy came up to me in gym and they're like, "Are you done with that?" I'd be like, "Fuck off." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," because every little thing gets on your nerves. Because again, your brain is terrified and setting out these signals, going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" So that was kind of a shock to me as well. Like in my ultimate quest to sort of stand on a bodybuilding stage and look as good as I could, actually one of the things that you need to do to get there and that I love, I lost my passion for it. Not lost my passion for it because I would have given up if that was the case, but I lost the enjoyment. And I think that would be the same as anything. Like I lost my enjoyment for sleep. I lost my enjoyment getting up in the morning. I lost my enjoyment walking down the stairs. Everything essentially becomes an effort. And that's even harder when you're talking about work. Like I was doing videos. You can go back. I won't tell you the date. I'll let you try and find it. But you can go back to some of my videos. You can see how gaunt my face is because I have dropped all that body fat. Yeah, like I say, anything that you have to put any kind of energy into, you just haven't got any energy because you're eating like a pea and 1 gram of chicken breast a day. So that kind of sucks because I love the gym and that got taken away, which the irony is crazy. Number one biggest thing that I learned is, or that nobody ever tells you, if you have some fat on your body, you're going to look bigger and that's okay. You know, in my head, I always had this idea that you want to be this percentage of body fat all the time. But arguably, when I got down to that percentage, or in the what's the word I'm looking for, in that bracket, people told me I look smaller, which I did. Of course I did. If I whipped my top off, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, Simon." Well, nobody would do that. You take my point. But that was really important takeaway, I thought, to understand that it's okay to have some fat. It makes you look a bit bigger. All right, cool. Only a few people get to see you topless, unless you're like me and you're a professional wrestler. But even then, when you're pro wrestling, you don't need to be 5% body fat. Great if you can be, and you can walk around like that, you're going to look fantastic. But as long as it doesn't even matter. I mean, if you look like you can kick someone's ass, great. If you don't look like you can kick someone's ass, who cares? Wrestling's evolved. Wrestling's moved on. But it was a great life lesson for me, that was. It's okay to have some fat, basically. It's okay to have some fat. When you're trying to lift weights, it adds some size. It's probably a little bit healthy as well. And I think that's a good takeaway to take from a competition when you're trying to lose weight. And that's that. That's 10 things about the bodybuilding competition nobody tells you. If you're interested in where I place, I don't know. I didn't place in the top 3. They only gave sort of placings for top 3. I got a medal. I should have got up, really. It's up there somewhere. So I could have placed, I think it was like 12 people in my category. So maybe I placed 4th. Maybe I placed 12th. I don't know. It's probably more than that, actually. It's about 20. There was a lot. Anyway, I could have been last. I could have been 4th. I don't know. But I'm glad I did it. Maybe one day I'll do it again. Definitely one of the hardest things that I've ever done. But I enjoyed it. And I look back now with a certain sense of pride. And I find it difficult to share these photos too, especially because I know people will rip into them. But hey, that's what I did. That's my achievement. That's where I got to. If it's good, good. If it's bad, it's bad. I'm not going to try and overthink it. Please do subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Like the video. YouTube's into engagement right now. It's always into engagement. Leave a comment below. Call me an asshole. That's what we do. Patreon.com/Simon316 is how I'm able to do all these videos. Again, link in the description below. Don't make much money from YouTube. Hopefully one day that will be the dream. In the meantime, I'll speak to you when I speak to you.